Hi, Kate.
Hey, Rochelle, how are you?
Good, and welcome to Runversation, a conversational podcast for your easy-paced running journey.
And how has your week been, Rochelle? And what did you see on your run or in the gym today?
Okay, so I saw um a local legend. He is a bit of a myth. His name is Mad Dog, and he lives in Midlands, 6056. And the story behind him is if you drive past him while he's riding his bike, he will bark at you like a dog.
No,
So I saw him riding his bike down the hill, down the highway, Great Eastern Highway in Midland, on my way to go to Woodbridge to do a run. I then went to the gym. I went into Audi after. I saw him in Audi.
that's not
And then I spent a bit more time at Midland Gate. And then I seen him like riding his bike home.
and he's Mad Dog.
And
Oh,
I saw him 3 times in one day. And people like never see him.
the man, the myth, the legend. There you go. Okay, wow.
So yeah, that's what I saw this week on the way to my run. Same as last week, actually, when I saw that random guy on a scooter.
Okay, interesting.
What did you see?
Well, I saw, okay, look, I didn't actually, because it's run and gym, and I didn't see this person in person. It was a person in the gym on my phone. Okay, so I saw him on my phone.
Was it
But
your own app?
it was not on my app. Yeah, my husband, and I can look at it anytime I like. Um, no, I saw a man with like serious bloating from creatine loading, and he
Yeah,
was so bloated. And for the first time, I felt like heard by a man who experienced bloating, because I get such severe bloating having
yeah,
endometriosis, and it can be so uncomfortable, and I can look huge at times.
yeah,
And then I saw this man experience it, and I was like, hang on, why does no, I know that creatine can cause bloating. It's actually one of the reasons I really
yeah,
struggle with it too. And I saw this guy experiencing it, and he was sharing his story about how he got it too. And I was like, wow, why are more people not talking about this?
Is
So,
this what you sent me, or did I just see it?
no, I sent it to you because
Yeah, he looked pregnant.
he was big, and he's actually a ripped man. Like, this man has
Yeah.
back, and it was intriguing for me to see this man so
Wow.
bloated. But we are completely, these are very random things we've seen on our runs and our gyms
Yeah.
week.
So
So
strange.
we have a very special guest today who we can introduce and then ask him what he has seen on his run or in the gym. Rochelle, would you like to take it away and introduce our guest of honor for today?
Yes. So today we have on the show Nick Bester. So he has coached hundreds of runners from like first timers to elites. He has his own podcast. He is a coach and he has always interviewed people about their sport and their journey and been very open as well about the mental side of sport and confidence and self doubt. So today we want to ask him how he balances life and all those emotions as well. So, welcome, Nick.
Cool. Thank you guys so much. Looking forward to catching up with you today. Okay, so firstly, what I saw on my run, let me talk about. I actually put on my Strava yesterday. It sparked a bit of a topic for conversation in the running world. So I do 5 times 2K threshold reps every Tuesday, every Thursday. And there's like a beautiful Itchen Trail where I live here. It's like the path of the area, where people run and take their dogs and stuff like that. So I found when I do easy running there, there's lots of dogs and a few runners, probably more dogs than runners there. But when I do easy running, like dogs don't care. They get on with their own thing. As soon as I do faster running, like yesterday I was doing my threshold reps probably about 320 a K or so, then dogs think it's playtime. So they just want to like run and play. And I'm a dog lover myself. But the problem is that I don't know if these dogs are playing or like, if they get spooked or something like that. So the Itchen Trail that I do it on is probably about, I would say about 3 to 4 meters wide. So it's wide enough for cyclists to come past, runners to come past, and people with dogs. Um, but yeah, yesterday was a tough one because like whenever I was running quick, a dog would turn around, look at me and then sort of like jump towards me. And then you're like, oh, you're on threshold, you pause your watch, you dodge and stuff like that. And then eventually I was kind of like, I don't know who's in the wrong. Like, am I in the wrong running a bit quicker, or should people, be holding their dogs next to them, especially like let them run free, but if they're jumping at people, maybe they should be holding them on. Anyways, I suppose I think the solution to that is I'm just going to change the spot where I do my threshold reps to just avoid that completely. But
Is
yeah,
it
people got quite emotionally involved on my Strava. I think a lot
I
of
was about
people
to
have
say it's a very
stories about that.
controversial topic.
well, I
Yeah,
see, I
yeah.
think there's a simple answer to this. Is it a dog off leash go area?
That's a good point. I actually don't know. I mean, very few of the dogs are on leashes, and they're normally pretty good. But I don't know if there's a sign or anything that says dogs have to be on leashes there.
Yeah,
Be checking out the signage in the park.
definitely, because like in Australia, there's areas where it strictly says dogs have to be on a leash, and then
Oh
there's
wow,
areas where they're allowed off the leash. So
that would
to
solve
me,
a lot of the
doesn't it, right? Super
issues.
common sense.
Simple.
If it's on a leash, it's like they're in the wrong. If it is a dog off leash section, then they're allowed to do that, right? And then you have to be aware of it. But this happens. So like I remember once I went for a run with, well, it must have been Leo because I only had the one at the time, in the pram, and this man had this dog, and it was like a pit bull dog as well, and so it was like a big strong looking
Yeah.
dog, and he had it off the leash, and because I was running, it was running right next to me and jumping up at the pram, and I was so terrified because I had like my son in the pram. Oh,
Mm.
sorry, my tree just fell over in the background.
Windy.
And yeah, I was absolutely terrified, and that was in a dog on leash area. And but the guy looked too scary. I didn't say anything, and I was like, I don't want to confront anyone. I'm too scared right now. But
Yeah.
see if there's signs, and then that will solve all issues.
I
Take a
don't know if
photo
there are
next
signs
time,
like that
Nick.
in the UK. I'll definitely have a look. But I think, yeah, one of the biggest problems as well, or not problems, but I grew up in South Africa where dogs are there to protect you. So when a
Yeah.
Mm,
dog's on a leash and it's coming at you, it's not coming to lick you and say hello, like it's coming for you, you know?
mm,
Uh,
yeah.
Whereas in the UK, people have dogs, yeah, as like friends and best friends, and they're your buddies. But I suppose it's ingrained in me from, when my early running days in South Africa, when a gate would open and a dog would chase you. So
Mm,
naturally, you're like a little bit on edge and flinch a little bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I suppose it's always a tricky one, that.
yeah. Okay, so today we're going to dive in with you, Nick, about more about into what makes other runners tick, your experience as a coach, what you've learnt yourself through running, but also through coaching other athletes. A lot about mindset because, and we'll dive into this a bit, but it took you, a few attempts to do your sub 220 marathon, which you have now done a 2:19:45, and hopefully even faster.
Quicker. Yeah.
The end of the year, with some good strength training. And anyway, side note. Um, but yeah, I feel like we kind of downplayed what a phenomenal runner you are in that intro.
Yeah, we did. Sorry.
Is so incredible. Also, it's not just that though. I remember meeting you in person before London at the marathon, and I wasn't running London, but I went and met you with your group and joined in like your pre-run shakeout, and the vibe that you brought this awesome. It was a combination of, you could tell that you were nervous, which made me feel like you were just a human, because obviously I followed you on social media and I'd met you before, well, online, but then just seeing how real and human you were, and you brought that, but then you brought this huge amount of positive energy that just lifted up everyone around you. Yeah. So I feel like what presence you had online was everything that you were in person. It was really cool. So I feel like we're going to learn so much stuff from you, and our listeners are going to really, really enjoy this and get a lot of take homes and have a lot of good little laughs in here as well. So
Awesome. Yeah, cool. It's
yeah.
great to have you at the shakeout. I remember it clearly. It was such a cool, like, those races have international vibes, so they bring people from all over the world, and it
Mm.
just adds to that culture. It's like really, really cool. And I think, yeah, my vibes were probably a lot more positive before the race than after the race, but that's a conversation for a different day.
I was going to say, I also saw you at 35K, and I think the vibe was different there.
Didn't get a wave hello.
Oh no, I don't think people heard me anyway. It was so jam packed, but yes, there
Oh.
was definitely no way hello there.
The only thing I was seeing at 35Ks was stars, so I promise you, I wouldn't have been able to spot you.
No offense was taken, don't worry.
So, Nick, you've coached hundreds of athletes through Best Athletics, but I'm curious, what have you learned about yourself from being on the coach's side?
So yeah, I think one thing that I've really noticed over time is that like you can give like an or a few athletes a similar type of plan, and some athletes will perform a lot better than others. And I think it's just about getting well, first of all, first and foremost, is the consistency obviously is key. But what I've realized is like athletes that consistently get in those sort of like 8 out of 10 sessions, those are the athletes that really pull through and start doing well. Whereas, some athletes will do like 10 out of 10 sessions, 12 out of 10 sessions, but then they'll just fall off a cliff and lose consistency for a little bit. And then sort of come back and smash a week and then lose consistency. So what I found is people that just sort of do things well, not extremely amazing, do things well for an extended period of time, they tend to do well as well. I've also noticed that there's definitely a lot of big gains you can make in the beginning, in my journey and with athletes that are coaches. Like when you first get into it and your body's say adapting more to sort of, the impact of running and stuff like that. Kate, you'll know as well, being an SNC coach yourself, like it takes a lot of adapting in the beginning, but then once you adapt, then, it's really like an exponential trajectory growth. And it's so motivating and it's so nice when you just PBing week after week after week. But then, eventually those like minutes that you were shaving then become seconds in my world, let's say. And to me now in a 5K, like shaving off literally a second or two is I have to put in as much work as I was shaving off like 4 or 5 minutes of my time in the early years, let's say. So the marginal gains get tighter and tighter and tighter, but it's almost like more satisfying when you're able to, reach those higher heights. So I've learned that quite a few of those things, and I suppose one of the biggest things as well, and this is probably more from or I'm to blame for this as well, but a lot from the athletes that are coaches, that runners are very goal driven and will have like like a Boston Marathon in the calendar and be super 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 excited for it, and then we'll put in all this work, and race day will either go really well or it won't go well, but then as soon as it's done, it's kind of like, okay, cool. You obviously get post-race depression, and it's fine to book another one. But I find that like sometimes athletes can be so goal driven that it takes away that enjoyment of the sport away. And like when a performance doesn't go someone's way, they get really downbeat about it. And I'm like, less than 1% of the world's population is running marathons. It's incredible what you've achieved. Yes, you might have missed it by a few minutes, but like, don't take away what an amazing achievement it is. But honestly, some athletes, I think, struggle with that, and it's like, a good result means happiness and a bad result means unhappiness. So that's why I always say, like, there's so many pros to running, and I think it almost takes someone to get injured to realize actually, getting out there for a run is amazing, and the results are a bonus. It's important to be goal driven for sure, but it can't dictate your happiness towards the sport or life.
That's really good. I want to know, Nick, did you practice exactly what you just preached when you missed out on your sub 220 a few times? So,
good question, Kate.
No, for sure I did. Like I wouldn't say so. I obviously did like 10-week or 12-week marathon builds or 8-week marathon builds, and I documented everything on Strava and YouTube and stuff like that. So it was amazing to get the support I did, and people following the journey. But I think what was killing me the most with that is that I knew I could do it. Like there wasn't a shadow of doubt in my mind I could do it, because I'd come so close, and I didn't have the perfect build when I came close and stuff. But I just kept on missing it because it was like so on my limits. And because I kept on missing it, it was like, it's not like a 5K where you just miss and you reload and go again. It's like you've got to respect the process, break your body down, build up. You're doing only 2 a year. So the fact that I got it after 7 means like, it took me 3.5 years of obsessing over a sub 220. But what I would say also with that is like, there were so many pros to that, because sub 220 started becoming more than just the time. It was like I said, a little bit of an obsession, but it kept me so motivated in other areas of my life, because I was like, okay, you've got to dial it in. I'm throwing everything I can at this in my running, like my running mindset. Let's use that mindset towards other aspects of life. So I would say I was extremely happy during that time, but a part of me did wonder, like, there's a big chance now, because I was going in the wrong direction, that I could go through my running journey without, breaking sub 220. So when it finally happened, it was like, I can't even describe to you the feeling, but I think having all those shots and come so close so many times, I think before I broke it, I was averaging under 222 for the last six, and then to finally get over the line was just, yeah, the ultimate feeling. And I think had I smashed it the first time or got under, there's no ways I would have felt that level of satisfaction. So yeah, that was awesome. But yeah, I was happy in life. But I was every time I failed, like, well, I wouldn't call it failed. Every time I fell short, uh, it hurt like hell for sure. I think I was open about that because when you 100% believe and it doesn't happen, like it does hurt for sure. Especially when you've poured your heart and soul into it. I think the harder you work for this, the more emotion you feel as well. But I just let that, fuel me and motivate me for next one. I think, yeah, nothing motivates me more than falling short in a race. So I just use that as fuel for the next one. It was nice to finally get over the line.
It's it's so interesting, and like, of course, I turn everything into science, but that's also how young kids and young adults accelerate in sport, is that when kids are naturally gifted or they're doing very well, and I say naturally gifted, of course, everyone works hard, but some kids do naturally have more talent than others. They're the ones that actually fall short when they get into elite and semi-elite sport, because they're not used to failure, and when they do fail, they don't know how to deal with it. Whereas if you have someone who, and this is what research shows, who is not the best, they learn, this is how you fail, this is how I have to get better, this is what I need to change, I need to work harder at this and this and this, and it
They
builds
figure out the processes.
yeah, exactly. And also the mental strength to keep trying again and keep trying again, which builds them for the long run. So I guess that's like exactly, Nick, what was happening to you in that process, wasn't it? It's like, I know I can do it. I know I can do it. And like you said, if you had done it first time, I mean, yeah, cool. But like you, it wouldn't have been that journey and this big thing, to get it, and to have a 3.5 year process for that is really cool. Like it's cool to hear that, and just to keep on going. I'm sure that you grew a lot from that as a person and an athlete.
Yeah. It happened a year ago, and I'm still smiling. I promise you, every day.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
just to talk to that point, yeah, I think, like, hard work definitely trumps talent when it
Mm,
comes to marathon running and longer distance stuff. Like, talent will get you far, especially in high school. There's talented athletes that didn't work so hard, they would smash it. But yeah, I suppose with running trending and more people, getting into it, it's those that work hard for an extended period of time. Those are the ones achieving, the good results in distance running. So it's cool to see.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what's best for others and how to prescribe for others. So how do you apply that to yourself? So how do you stay accountable to the same advice that you might give somebody else to yourself?
Yeah, so that's a very good question. I think it's sort of twofold. So one is a big part of my job is actually just motivating a lot of people. Like keeping people accountable as their coach, motivating people. And I always say, like, I mean, I absolutely love my job, and if you didn't, there's only so far you would go. But there's also only so much love and motivation someone can give, and if you give it all away, you've got none. You've got like no motivation for yourself, right? So, it's been like I'm always trying to get the balance right, but sometimes I'll overdo it where you just, I'm on my phone for like 10 hours in the day, and you just, motivating all your athletes. And then eventually, by the end of it, you've just got nothing left to give, and you're exhausted, and you're like, I can't face going out for a run. Or yeah, I've done it a lot, like sometimes pre-races where um, you've just given so much that you just don't have the mental energy to like tap into those reserves. So yeah, I think it's something that you work out over time. And like I say, I love my job. It's there's you got to just find the balance right as best as possible. But also just recently in the last 3 or 4 months or so, I've got a running coach myself. So I've been running for
Yeah.
12 and a bit years, and I've never ever had a running coach. I've kind of always been open to it. But why I haven't in the past is because I've loved watching what others do on Strava, on YouTube, trying to do it myself, and then seeing what works, what doesn't work, and then incorporating it into my athletes that I coach as well. But just having got a coach in the last 4 or 5 months, it's been probably one of the best decisions ever. Like it's given me that extra like element of accountability. So before I was doing it for myself, for the athletes that I coach, and it was a nice synergy. But now there's a coach like following my progress. He's holding me accountable as well. I want to excel for myself, for him as well. And yeah, it's been nice to actually also have a plan dictated to me rather than me just winging it as I go. It's taken quite a lot of adapting because, like I said, it's been, 12 years of me just being self-coached, whereas finally I've got to coach myself now. But it's been such a good decision, and yeah, something that I almost wish that I did sooner as well. I think because I'd got so close to sub 220, I knew what worked so well for me, so I didn't want to mess with things. And then once I've
Yeah.
taken it, I was like, okay, let's risk it for the biscuit a little bit more and see if we can level up.
Yeah. It's really
Nice.
interesting you saying like how much you give to all of your athletes and do everything. At the end of the day, you almost don't have anything left for yourself. Do you know, I've never thought about it like that. And now I'm like, whoa, I reckon that happens to me too, like working with clients all the time, like all day. And then by the end of the day, like Nick can do nighttime sessions, like my husband Nick. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't even I just want to go to bed. Like
Yeah.
I'm zonked here. I got to zone out. And it is a bit of that, like you give and you give. And Nick, I know you've got children as well. And like life is just full on and you're always giving all the time. And it's so interesting to hear you then say, that you got to have that little bit for yourself as well. I think that's important. You almost need to put yourself on the books. Like,
You
time,
do.
time for myself.
Are you a
Yeah.
morning person or an afternoon person, Nick?
I would say I'm definitely more of a morning person. I wake up, have my
Okay.
coffee, come to life, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah. Oh, so you're like, hey, I'm an afternoon runner.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
a morning, started my run this morning at 5:30. I mean, I don't
Oh,
mind rolling out of bed like at that time, but as soon as coffee grinds, I'm like, yes, I'm good. Coffee, banana, muesli bar, off I go. I'm like, sweet, ready to
Best way
roll
to
on
start
my
the day.
day.
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Absolutely. And then you're home, day is done.
Mm,
I
mm.
want to know, Nick, what do you tell your athletes to do? And you have to answer this, okay? You have to give me an answer. Because you're like, I'm an angel. No. All right, what is something, a piece of advice that you give your athletes that you really endorse, but you don't do it yourself?
I feel like you've cornered me
Ooh.
into a room and you're not letting me go until
I know. Okay, look, if you
speak up.
genuinely don't have anything, you
Um,
can genuinely say no.
so no, no, no,
So,
no, no. There's a few things. So I think in my coach, like in my case, I'm a runner myself, but I'm also a coach. So I know from a coaching point of view what's best for a runner sometimes. And you'll know as an S&C coach, I know the runner's mindset as well. So sometimes I completely understand, like someone should not be racing a race, but they'll end up taking painkillers, smashing through it. And I'm kind of like, yeah, you shouldn't be doing that with my coach's mindset. But my athlete's mindset's like, I've done that before in the past. So it's always like trying to get a balance between the two, like put myself in their athlete position and then as a coach position. And often I'll say to people like, okay, cool, listen, as a coach, this is exactly what you should be doing. But if I was your best mate as an athlete or myself, potentially this is what it might look like, but you make up your mind. I think it's probably better than in a lot of cases where a physio will advise someone not to run for 8 weeks and then they'll go and put their running shoes on the next day. So I kind of like I'm not living under any illusions. I'm like, you're probably going to do this, but just know that this might be the consequence type thing. And yeah, I think in my case, like I had going back to 2019 Berlin Marathon. The last time I actually had a serious injury was a stress reaction in my tibia, and I went for an MRI, and the guy told me to do the jumping test, and I couldn't hop on my leg at all. Like I was in so much pain, and I'd been running on this like with this pain in my shin for about 16 weeks, right? Which is just ridiculous. But I'd never been injured before, and I thought, injury happens to other people. It doesn't really happen to me until it
Didn't get
happens.
the hint
No,
sooner.
no, 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 no. Because I'd always just kept
he's
on running.
dying.
Yeah, proper runner's mindset. And some sessions it would hurt, but sometimes like it wouldn't actually hurt, and I'm like, okay, we can run through this. It's getting better. And then eventually, 2 weeks before Berlin Marathon in 2019, it got so bad to a point where I was like just limping every day. And I remember crossing a road for a bus coming, and I couldn't even run. I was like hobbling across, and I was like, how am I going to run a marathon in 2 weeks' time? But yeah, what ended up happening was that I took a painkiller at the start of the race. So I didn't run for 2 weeks. I just did cross training. I trained really well before then. And the doctor that I saw when he told me to do the hop test and I had a stress reaction, he was like, there's absolutely no ways you can run. Um, but I'd booked my flights and accommodation and went in. I was so grumpy the whole way there, literally. And then I did a few strides before the start, and I thought, oh my word, like this actually feels okay, you know. Obviously, maybe it like was a bit of the painkiller kicking in and stuff. I don't know. So anyway, so I started the race. I got through 10K, and my leg was still attached to my body, and I was like, this is actually flowing quite nicely. I think you know what it's like in the race mindset. You kind of like get into that flow, and then it started feeling okay at halfway, and at halfway I was on track for just over 2:30. I wanted to break sub 2:30, but because it felt decent, I was like had my tail up. I was high on life, and I put in a massive negative split in the second half. Broke sub 2:30 for the first time, around 2:29.50, so 51. So I just broke it by 9 seconds, and it was the most incredible feeling because I got to that start line thinking I was never going to finish. And then once I finished, I was so high on life that I thought my leg was cured. I was stage diving that night. I was, jumping off things. I couldn't believe it. I was like, I've run my leg better. And then I had quite a few beers that night as well. And then the next day I woke up and the lift is about 100 meters from where our hotel room was. And I couldn't even walk. I had to like use my bag as a crutch and hobble. Got to the lift. I was in so much pain. Then the train station, because from there we were going from Berlin, we were going to Munich to Oktoberfest, the beer fest.
Oh
From
God.
from the hotel room to the train station was 300-meter walk. I Ubered because I couldn't walk 300 meters. And basically, recovery was like instead of 6 weeks, it was 8 weeks after Berlin. And I thought actually it was worth it because I didn't have any races planned after that. So I was like, either way, I have to take time off. But yeah, I suppose it could have played out very differently, and but that's
That
probably
is so.
one time where I would have advised the runner definitely like think about longevity, but yeah, smash the painkiller and power through it.
Definitely a coach's nightmare.
Wow.
Oh my Lord.
It's so like, obviously I've got my physio hat on right now and I'm like, but were you saying this is coach's advice? And then if I was your mate, this is what I would do. People know when they come and see me that I get it. I'm like, yes, I run marathons, I've done Ironmans. I get it. Like, so they'll come to me because they know like I'm going to give them an honest just outlay. I'm like, look, as your physio, definitely don't do that. And they'll go, yeah, but what would happen, Kate, if I did? I'm like,
Oh God.
you're going to go and do it, aren't you? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay. So I just go into damage control and they know that they can like wind me and just be like, just tell me what to do, how to minimize it, because I'm going to go and do the marathon. I hear you. So I'm writing in my notes for my own liability, like, no, I have told them not to do it. Like, this is not my responsibility. And they're going to go and do it anyway. So then I'm like, okay, this is what you need to do after. You need to rest this, do that, blah, blah, blah. Or they'll be like, what are the chances of this happening? So I just lay out the situations on the table and I'm like, this is what you have. This is the odds of this going wrong. It's a very real risk and the decision is yours. Don't tell me what you're going to do. Just come and see me after and we'll fix whatever happens. Like, oh my goodness. I just can't deal with saying
Wow.
but it's so funny though hearing you say it was worth it, right? Like you did your sub 2:30 and Nick, at the end of the day, you're the only one that has to deal with that. And you did it, you dealt with it, you got through it, you got your sub 2:30, you had 8 weeks off. Whatever. You're here now. Your tibia is still attached. Life is
You've
fine.
run a 2:19 now. It's all good.
It's all good.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I think that was one case, and it helps so much that you're a S&C coach and a runner because you understand the runner's mindset and what it's all about.
Get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm like, look, and then sometimes I'm sitting there telling people like, don't do that. And then in my head, I'm like, I would do exactly the same.
So now that we know what you do as a coach and what you do as an athlete, you've got like this huge online presence that you've built around yourself. What's something that you don't show on social media?
So I think it's always a fine line between sort of like in my world, a lot of people follow me for like maybe my race videos to learn a lot about running and stuff like that. And you got to sort of like show some of your personal life because I think people definitely want to understand a little bit more background about yourself and stuff like that. But I probably keep a lot of my personal life more personal and try and keep it like more professional and running based. whereas maybe other creators and call it like influencers and stuff might show more of their personal life. And that's completely fine. But I think, yeah, in my case, it's more like I think people more follow me for the educational contents and stuff like that. So I'll showcase a little bit, but I'll sort of keep quite a lot of the personal life personal, let's say.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like, if anybody was to look at my Instagram account, like, I only post running stuff, like me running advice about my coaching. There's nothing about my personal life or my family and my kids. So a lot of people look at that and they think, wow, she's really self-absorbed. Like, all she does is run. Like, how does she have the time to just do this? But like, if you get to know me outside of running or ask me questions, then I'm happy to share. Yeah, I think that's a really good answer that you gave. Like, it's good to give them just a little bit of snippets, but yeah, there's other ways for people to get to know who you are.
100%, yeah.
And
Yeah,
yeah.
sorry, go for it, Kate.
But no, I was just going to say it's called a personal life for a reason sometimes, isn't it? It's personal. And, you can share what you want, obviously. And like, I follow a lot of people because I'm like so intrigued in their personal lives. And I'm like, gosh, I'm so nosy. But I don't like to share it so much.
That's not fair. They're showing you their personal life and you're not showing yours back.
Yeah, and I'm like, no,
Yeah.
we're closed book.
But yeah, I think, having opened myself up and being active on social media, posting on Instagram every day, making a YouTube video once a week and stuff like that, I've definitely realized that there's a lot of incredible people out there. Like 90% of people are incredible, but then there's also stuff you don't want to see and some really not so good things with putting yourself out there. And I suppose that's where you sort of go into your own shelter a little bit and you just want to, you want to help people, but you want to protect yourself at the same time. So it's just finding that balance.
Yeah.
It's even like I hear all these scary things about kids on social media, parents putting pictures of their kids up, and I've actually stopped that now because not that I've posted a lot of my boys anyway, but some of the things that I've heard, like once one photo's up, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, it's actually quite unsafe, and like I find that quite scary. Or yeah, even like on runs, I know there are a lot of content creators who have to hide their destination of their runs or even post their runs a few days later because otherwise people have been known to go and like find them and they can't enjoy, say, like a holiday.
Figure out their routine.
Yeah, so it's
Be a scary world sometimes, but
yeah,
there's some features for that. Like I know on Strava you can hide your start and finish points, so that helps people a lot. And yeah, I think they're always thinking of ways to just try and make people feel safe in this awesome but crazy world we live in sometimes.
Well, it was fascinating when, Nick, I caught up with you after London Marathon and I met you at the train station and we only walked like, 200 meters away. And in that time, I think there was like 3 people that had stopped and been like, Nick. And I was like, oh, do you know them? And you were like, nope.
I remember you told me that. You were like, I was with this guy and he was like so famous.
You're like a celebrity. I was like, wow, no way. And then Ben Johnson, that came to your hit out run as well. When we were running, people were like, it's Ben. I was like, oh, no way. It was like,
it's pretty cool. Like it's crazy to think like the effects social media can have, that exponential effect, like it's just it's a YouTube video. Everyone can make a YouTube video, but in some cases it's so much more than just a YouTube video to quite a few people. So yeah, it's something that I suppose it took some getting used to, but I drive so much, it gives me so much energy and there's good synergy and it's great stuff. So yeah, I love it, so I can't complain.
Do you ever feel pressure to perform, to look like the perfect coach or the perfect athlete because people are watching you?
No. So I think the biggest thing for that is like, I'm obviously conscious that you are a coach and an athlete and there's so much running advice out there. Most of it actually does work, but there's also, people out there that can jump on things where they don't think it's right and stuff like that. So it's always finding a balance between, a lot of stuff I know works and that's fine, but also like being human and, I have made mistakes in the past as well, but it's sort of like I've gotten to the position where I am at now just by being myself and always being myself. So I'm not just going to always say 100% the correct thing of what people want to say, if it's not always, me being me. So I think, and it's a question I got a lot of the times, where I was documenting my sub to 20 journey, and a lot of people might follow me on the day and be like, does this bring so much pressure to perform? And in my case, no, like it doesn't. Like I draw energy from it, but I always think like I document it and I put myself out there, but ultimately I really want to do it for myself first and foremost, and then for all the other people and, family and stuff supporting. And I think if I was doing it just for people supporting, then it probably would take that satisfaction and that hunger and drive and the true reasons why I run. So I always think I've always done it the way I've done it, and a lot of people are following, and that's amazing, but I'm not going to change the way I've always done it.
Yeah, that's a great answer.
Yeah, that's really refreshing. And I think like also just you that genuine, like what you said, it's like, look, I'm just out there, this is just what I'm doing. Like you can see that in your content and in your stuff of like, even after London when you ran, I think it was a 2:27, Nick, after in London.
Yeah.
And I know obviously that was much slower than what you wanted, but you were like, look, no excuses. It was just wasn't my day. Yeah, it was a bit hot, but it just didn't really go to plan. And I remember watching your stories after, because we were obviously following along, and you were just like, all good. Boom shakalaka, we're fine. Let's keep rolling onwards and upwards. And I was like, oh, breath of fresh air. It was like, no excuses, no this. It was just like, look, I swung, I missed.
Yeah.
Carry on. And it's like, wow. And it just, even hearing you say then, no, the pressure's not really there. I draw energy from it. It's like, yeah, cool. Like you can have a following and have people invest in your journey without that pressure. It's really nice to hear.
100%. I think that's probably what marathons are like for 90% of us in any case. Like very rarely do they always go according to plan. So when they don't go according to plan, that's when you learn most. Like, yes, it hurts like hell, especially the second half struggle, and you're in the world of pain. But with London Marathon, there's just something about it. Like it's my favorite marathon because it's my home marathon now. But I've never walked away feeling like I've smashed it. But that's motivating me more than ever to like just keep going back until I do. I think I've run about 7 now, so it's been a while.
Oh my God.
And when I don't always full send them for that reason, because I know they never go well when I full send them. When I pace and help other people, I get so much more satisfaction. But I'm like, life short. Like there has to be one where I full send and it goes right. But yeah, we'll keep trying and not give up. That's for sure.
Cool. Do you feel like social media in general, especially with the running boom at the moment, and then comes with that obviously like a social media running boom, do you feel like that's changed the way that people train? Like, do you feel like it's a bit more about people training because running is cool, or maybe even sending runners in kind of the wrong direction of like they might see a lot of cool workouts and try and do them and injure themselves? Or like, do you feel like this kind of explosion in running has changed how running is from it? And you could even speak from like when you got into running to now, because it would be quite different.
100%. Yeah. So yes to all of that. I think just quickly going back to your other question about pressure on yourself. One thing I've also realized is that, and a lot of it's come from athletes that are coaches, that people think that other people care about their times a lot, and people don't actually care apart from yourself. So you think like, if I've put myself out there or if I've said I'm going for a 3 hour and you run 3:20, you think people are so upset with you, but actually the average person on the streets, if you tell them you've done a 2:20 marathon or a 4:20, their reaction is going to be like, wow, that's amazing. So I think once you realize that people don't actually care about your times, not nearly as much as you do, that just takes the pressure completely.
Actually, that's just like my nana. She says, oh, Kate, how was your park run when I've done a marathon? And I'm like, oh. She's like, oh. So like, she doesn't know, she doesn't care. She loves me.
No. And you know what? Like, you can run a really fantastic time or you could run a really horrible time, but next week everyone's forgotten about it because there's another race to watch and another event to train for. So it's like,
well, you know what? Like, let's all take a leaf out of Kipchoge's book. He's like, I'm just blessed to be here and keep running and doing what I do. How lucky am I? I'm like, man, if he can say it, come on, everyone. Let's just enjoy life. Like, how lucky we to even run.
Exactly.
Often it's your reaction is what people like support you about. So if you say you did a 3:30 at Boston, even though you're going for a 3, but you're like, Look, it was tough, but I'm walking away with a 3:30. What an amazing experience. I promise you, people will be like, what? That's incredible. Whereas if you think like I hit the wall, it was the worst race of my life, I ran 3:30, then people are going to be disappointed for you. So a lot just depends on your reaction and how satisfied you are with that performance. But yeah, just going to your question about like the boom of running at the moment. It's honestly been incredible to see. So I've been running for 12 years. Like I said, I've been a full-time coach for the last 5 years. And I would say in the last maybe year to 18 months, there's been this, running boom that I'm sure we're all aware of. But it's been incredible to see and witness and be a part of. I think it's awesome. Like, people are out there running a lot more than before. And I think like even people are saying they're meeting other people a lot more through running clubs than dating apps, and it's just like a healthy lifestyle. Like 5 years ago, going for a park run and a coffee or a brunch or whatever wasn't cool. Like you were partying until early hours of the morning, and if you're a runner, you were a bit of a nerd and a loser. Whereas now it's trending, and it's like, okay, sweet. Instead of going out so early hours of the morning, like let's go for a run and then a nice brunch and a few proseccos and stuff from there. So that's been cool, and it's a lot more healthy, and it's really been cool to see. But obviously with this running boom at the moment, like every second person now is a content creator and an influencer putting themselves out there, which I think is great. There's a lot more running content, but at the same time, like if you've been a content creator in the past, you've really got to be on top of your game because things move quickly, and there's people putting in a hell of a lot of effort into some of their posts and reels. So I try and post every day, and I found that like the educational content that was a quick, easy, quick win for me that I was posting a couple of years ago, I did one of those the other day and it got really bad traction, and I was like, I couldn't believe it. But it's because things have changed so much recently, and I think a lot of it's like humorous, which I love. You can get stuck on the reels for a long time, humorous and educational. But yeah, I think you've probably got to put in more effort than in the past to get the same or similar results, because there's like a massive boom with content creation at the moment. And by far the most common question I get across all my socials is on YouTube or even on Instagram is, what running camera do I use? How do I get those metrics on screen? How do I make those videos? Because I think a lot of people, watch it and want to do it themselves, which is great. But I probably answer that question, I'm not even joking, about 10 to 12 times a day. So it just goes to show you
Wow.
how people want to run with the head cam, make that sort of content and stuff.
So what camera do you use?
13,
Tell us, don't
13,
just like reel me in.
13
Like,
Oh, let me just copy paste it quickly from my notes and I'll send it through to you. But no,
perfect.
so the running camera I use, it's called Insta360, and they make like
Yeah.
really good action cameras. So it goes on the top of my cap, and it can record this one can record, they say for 70 minutes, but probably about 45 minutes or so. And it's very lightweight. You literally just click start, stop on your head, and then I think the cool thing is like the metrics you see on screen. So you see like heart rate, pace, elevation, distance. So it gives people a real feel and perspective as to how hard you're working, how far into the race you are. And it's the most basic thing. All you do is connect your Garmin Connect or your Coros or your Strava, and it allows you to use those metrics from your tracking app or whatever you used when you sync the video. So yeah, I'm not very technologically advanced, let's say. It's super basic to do. But yeah, it's been a really nice feature for me.
Tell me you're sponsored by them.
I am indeed. Yeah. Actually,
Yeah.
yesterday,
Hey man, they owe you big time.
Yeah.
That many people asking you. I hope you're getting commission, Nick.
yeah.
I'm gonna jump onto Marketplace after this and see if there's any secondhand ones. Now I
I
know.
want one now. I really want one now. And then I'll put it up and be like, ooh, 7 views. Rocket!
No, it's been an amazing brand. Like they've helped me and I've helped them, let's say, because they've helped me with this camera that they have, and it's really helped my socials. Whereas I suppose I've helped them because it showcased what it can do as well. So yeah, it's a good relationship.
Definitely. What was I going to say? Does it bother you when you're running at all? Like, does it annoy you?
So do you know what? Like, I would say definitely it costs me a few seconds, I would say, especially when you stop starting it, adjusting your cap. Like, I've done a few races where you're running quite quick, you get sweaty, it's windy, and your
Mm.
cap's moving, but the content's key. But this is
Ask
also a
us-
tricky one.
Just got like footage of a cloud. Hey guys, this was really good. Check it out. Oh, cool, the sun.
I've once done a race where I've clicked stop recording when I wanted it to record, and then
Oh,
click
no.
Oh,
record when I wanted it to stop. So I
so you
got
got
the
nothing.
worst. I didn't get the start or the finish. I got the middle, most quiet part of the race.
That was me today. I had this full on freak out. I'd spent so long making this YouTube video, which is going to get like 8 likes. Anyway, and I spent so long doing it on ITB syndrome, and I lost it. And I was like, oh my gosh, no! I spent so long filming this. I was so upset. I was like, I don't
Oh
know where
no,
it
how did
is,
you
and
lose
I
it?
told Nick I was so upset. I was like, I must have not pressed record. Anyway, it turns out I recorded it on Nick's phone. It's all good. God, that's my
Always have a
phone.
safety backup plan if you can.
I know. I was like, wow, Kate, wow,
Nick's
that's
probably looking for his phone for like the last 2 hours, and you got no idea because you've got it.
I've got it. He's gonna go on his phone just like, oh, I know everything about ITB syndrome now. Oh, I love it.
Love it.
Okay, now I know we're taking up lots of time, so we can go to a couple of really good questions. I would like to know if you could bust one running myth that's out there at the moment on social media or anything that you've heard, or maybe these questions that keep popping up and you're just going, oh, running myth, die. What running myth would you like to die that just refuses to die?
Probably the fact that people think that running is really bad for your knees, or you'll have major knee issues when you're older. So often I'll get a message from non-runners because I'm running a lot, saying like, look after your knees. At 60, 70, you're not going to be able to walk. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's actually. I think research shows that runners tend to have stronger knees at older ages. So yeah, that's probably a myth.
Yeah.
I wish I could just bust.
Oh man, if I hear that when I'm a physio, and the worst thing is too, there is a huge review that has like thousands and thousands of people showing there is no detrimental effect. If anything, it's positive. And I get them even coming in and telling me that my GP told me running's bad for my knees. I'm like, ah,
Where did he get his medical certificate from?
yes, I think your GP graduated his medical school in like 1939. Like, get
Yeah.
a new GP, guys. Come on now. Like, ah.
Well, it's like I love like my favorite one is like, how do you breathe when you're running? Is it like in through your nose, out through your mouth? And I'm like, forget it. Just breathe. Just run and just don't even think about breathing. It'll just happen because it has to.
Twice, you will collapse.
Like, do I sniff twice through my nose and out through my mouth? I'm like, God, can you imagine running and having to think that like every single time?
You know what, Rochelle? You should be like, do you know what? The best way, trial and error. Give them all a shot. Come back to me and let me know what works. All right?
I reckon you'd get dizzy like you're blowing up a balloon. Like,
I reckon you should mess with them. You should say you sniff 5 times through your nose and like, out twice through your mouth, and then they go running like that.
Yes, and then do it even more. 10 times through your nose when you're doing efforts.
But you have to
and
do-
the
you
real
have to do a
elite.
video when you do- That is
All
awesome.
right. What about something, Nick, that you've done a complete backflip on when it comes to like your coaching advice or something that you used to do as an athlete or that you prescribe as a coach, something that you say you did like 5 years ago, and now you go, oh no, why did I ever do that?
Man, I don't know. That's a tricky one. I think I don't know if I've gone back on anything. Oof, tricky one. Okay, maybe the fact that I used to smoke. I used to. So when I went up from 18 till I had kids, 30, I used to smoke, which was a very
long
unhealthy
time.
habit.
Oh,
Yeah. So I've stopped I stopped 4.5 years ago, almost 5 years ago. So I was pretty much a 2:24 marathoner while still smoking. So that was a really bad habit. But I felt I was only having 3 a day at that stage, and I
Both
felt
our
like
eyes are popping out of my head.
what?
yeah, and it's obviously something I didn't show on social media because I was like, it's not something that I was proud of or wanted to highlight, but it was just part of my routine. It's not something that I felt like I needed either. I was such a creature of habit that I would get back, have a recovery smoothie and a smoke. And I think a lot of it was in my corporate days. I'd have a buddy that would go for a 10-minute air break, we would say. throughout the day to just catch up, and it was like a social thing, you know. So yeah, it was an unhealthy habit, but I think because I'd done it for so long, I don't know. This is also me living in dreamland. I felt like it didn't actually affect my performance too much. I was, you know, sort of like smoking fit, let's say, where I was only having 3 a day and running quite a bit. But yeah, then I actually spoke to a doctor, and they were like, "Listen, it's really not good. You shouldn't do endurance running and smoke. Well, obviously smoking is not bad for you, but they were like, you definitely shouldn't do both because you're putting excess pressure on your lungs. Plus, you're smoking. Like, choose one or the other. Like, stop running and smoke, or stop smoking and run. And yeah, thankfully, I chose running. So let's go.
Wow.
But I mean, yeah, that's probably I can't beat that. That's a bad habit that I used to do that I definitely no longer do.
I
I know it
know.
blows a lot of people's minds, but
I'm gobsmacked because like I've got a lung condition and I find it hard to breathe when running. Just imagine like throwing something else on top of that.
Oh, do you know,
yeah,
I
Amazing.
have never smoked a cigarette, not one cigarette in my
Me
life.
neither.
incredible. Wow.
I've never have.
Wow.
I don't know. Like, I just am like, I think
Your
I
lungs must be so fresh. I feel like I'm still trying to undo the damage here from back then.
Well, I think it must be like a bit of a like maybe a cultural thing as well, because growing up in Australia was very much just like you don't smoke, like, and it wasn't really a cool thing. Even when I don't know, I wasn't cool though, so I
No,
wouldn't
no, no,
know.
but you
That's
see, that's the
probably
difference.
why I didn't.
I grew up in South Africa, and in my university group, there we were 12 like good mates, and
Mm,
all of us smoked. And you know, I've got an addictive personality. A lot of us runners have addictive personality, so it was just like it was the
oh,
thing, you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then once it's built into your routine, it's a bit of a habit. But yeah, never too late to kick that habit. And I feel like obviously like lungs are something that can fully recover. So maybe it doesn't affect my performance today in any way.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like I
Wow.
said, I mainly just did it to not because like when I stopped, I didn't crave nicotine or cigarette once at all.
Mm-mm.
And the only
Yeah.
reason why I stopped actually is because I had kids, and my wife said to me, if whenever I hold the little one, I had to shower before, or shower after I had a cigarette, and I was like, I'm not showering 3 times a day because that's just a mission. So let's just stop. So
Easier
that's
to
I
not.
just stopped cold turkey. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think the biggest thing for me was like it was that 10 minutes or 7 minutes of just switching off, going into my own place. That's what I liked about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
you don't really do that if you don't smoke, to be honest. Like you're not going to go,
Mm,
outside for a
yeah.
7 minute air break, let's say.
Yeah.
But yeah, really happy I kicked that. And there's obviously, I mean, I don't know if vaping's actually better or worse for people these days, but there's a lot less people smoking cigarettes. I think they put a ban on it in the UK as well. At a
Mm,
certain age group, they had to stop. So that was pretty cool to see. But yeah, having said that, when you're walking around, there's just clouds of different
yeah.
flavored smoke that people are blowing off. And
Yeah.
I actually want to know when you guys are running and someone blows like a vape cloud, or someone smoking a cigarette and there's a massive cloud of smoke. Do you like try and run to the other side of the road, or do you just hold your breath, or do you just like breathe it all in when you go past?
So smoking in a public place in Australia is illegal. So
Yeah.
you can't
It's
just smoke
No,
like,
but can you smoke outside on the street?
I don't know. I
I know
thought,
you can't smoke in like certain perimeters of buildings.
yeah.
I
I
did run across the Elizabeth Quay Bridge today, and there was a guy smoking, and I only know but like notice it because when I run through smoke, I like really struggle to breathe because of like what
mm,
I've got. So I guess maybe you can just
I
have a
guess so.
casual cigarette, but
I
like
yeah, I my only pet hate with smoking is I see people smoking in playgrounds and I'm
yeah,
like,
like
gross. Like, no, there are kids. Like, those
Yeah.
kids don't have a choice. What are you doing?
yeah,
But yeah, I probably give a bit of a wide berth because yeah, I think I subconsciously probably do. Like if I see it, I'm like, oh, I'll go round because I think I was just so overeducated about secondhand smoking,
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, yeah,
Ew,
yeah.
you smoke one cigarette, people.
yeah.
Like it was really like, and do you know what I was just thinking, Nick? Are you saying it's a cultural thing? I also don't think in my whole entire life, I cannot think of one single time that someone has offered me a cigarette.
Wow, that's incredible. You have got such healthy habits on your side of the world. You did live
Yeah.
on an island in a cave for a little bit, but apart from that, like that's pretty impressive.
Right,
I'm not
that
gonna
is
lie.
a very unhealthy place. They just
Yeah. But I'm the
yeah,
same. I don't think I've ever had a
That's
cigarette
incredible.
offered to
Wow.
me.
no,
Even
no,
though like I was previously with a smoker, like they didn't even offer me a cigarette.
Yeah, I was with someone for 6 years and both his parents smoked and they would always go outside. Like and they would never ever even offer me one, I think, because they just knew I wouldn't be interested. No one
Yeah.
put it on me or anything like that. Like it was always just, yeah, it was just not a
Not a
thing.
thing.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Visited Oz, I'm
I-
dying. Like that is awesome. That's the habits right there.
Yeah, Australia is, I think, just a super healthy place. So now that you don't have smoking, and I know you said very interestingly, you were like, it's not like you would just go outside and have a 7 to 10 minute break, but really we actually all should do that. But that
Yeah.
leads me to thinking, like, what do you do then, Nick, to just switch off from social media, life, running, everything? Like, what does Nick do if he had no phone, no running shoes, weren't allowed to run? Like, what would you do? What
Oh
do
my
you do?
word. I haven't even thought that far. That's crazy. I think like so I checked the screen time on my phone the other day and it's about 7 hours 45 minutes every day on my phone. So that is
That's like a day job.
yeah, but
Well,
it
it
is
is
my
your
job.
job.
It is my job. So
Job.
Yeah, it is your job.
I probably spend like maybe 2-3 hours in front of the laptop in a day max. Whereas when I was in the corporate world, you'd spend like 8 to 10 hours in front of a laptop. So it's part of my job for sure. I get that. But yeah, it's a lot of screen time, and that screen time's probably not that healthy for you, especially for posture and stuff like that as well. So I'm definitely going to try and to reduce that a little bit going forward. But sorry, what was the question I got? Oh, if you took my screen time away, oh my
What would you
gosh!
do with your spare time?
Imagine I had that much time in a day. Wow.
Yeah,
And
I
took my
mean,
running shoes. Okay, so if you took my running shoes away, I'd be very grumpy. That's for sure. Because like
you
probably
would
take
spend
like
your 7 minutes messaging me being like, where are my running shoes?
yeah, I'd run barefoot for sure because yeah, I take 5 or 6 rest days a year, so it's just like part of my life, let's say. But with that extra time, I don't know. I think the more that I have a presence on social media and stuff, the more I'm appreciating the finer things in life. And a good example is like when I grew up in South Africa, we would go on a safari holiday once a year at least, and it was normal. It was like not even a big deal. But when I went back to South Africa now and I went on a safari holiday, it's like my phone was away and I just connected with nature, and I was just like, I appreciated it so much more, and I was like, this is my happy place, like this is incredible. And I think it would probably be like in this fast-paced AI crazy world that we live in now, it almost makes you appreciate that nature so much more. So I'd probably go and spend as much time in the bush or in nature as possible, because yeah, I really appreciate it.
I like
What
that.
I am hearing is you're going to come to WA, to Australia, come down to Busso, Margaret River wine region. It's all just nature, beaches, wineries.
Most people don't wear their shoes down there.
Yeah, you'll be totally fine. You'll fit in great. And you can just disconnect. Some places don't even have phone reception, so you can't even go on your phone. And it's the best.
You
Yeah,
guys
or you can come run in the hills and see the kangaroos.
Yes, and I was going to say there's a marathon here.
I've never ever seen a kangaroo in my life.
Really? I
I've
see
seen
them
all
like
animals.
daily.
I grew up in South Africa, but there's no kangaroos there.
Wait, hang on. I coach a South African guy who's currently back home in South Africa, and he has a hippopotamus in his backyard because he's got like a big pond thing, and he just like randomly brought giraffes and showed me a video of like these giraffes hopping off the back of a truck. Did you have any animals like that growing up?
No, I
Did you have a hippopotamus or a giraffe?
I don't know if he's telling you the truth. I don't think there's
No.
anyone.
I saw the videos. I swear, I'll send it to you.
I think he went
Okay.
to a zoo and was like, check my swimming pool.
Yes, I think he's really like, I have two very Australian stories. One of them, okay, we'll start with the not so happy one. They're both about my same dog. So I had a Jack Russell when I was little growing up. Actually, I have Jack Russell now. Psycho little dogs. And so Australian. We, in our house, which is suburban Perth, it was not even country, but there was a golf course opposite us and there were kangaroos. So you sit in the front lounge and watch the kangaroos. And our dog got out one day and chased 3 kangaroos down the street. So there was just like people stopping. I think the police had to come and close off the roads because there were kangaroos there. And my Jack Russell's just gone mental. And I'm like, this is just another day in Australia.
Jack Russell's a crazy dog.
like pulled out Dugite in our backyard, a snake. Like this is just
Yeah.
Australia, mate. Like it's just so, you know,
You have to come.
yeah, you gotta
Yes,
come.
no, I'm dying to come. I am dying to come. I think I've got my kids are 4 years old and 2 years old, and I'm like I
Yeah,
feel a bit guilty if I go to Australia by myself. So I'm like I got to take the family with me too. So I
yeah,
think maybe 1 or 2 years once they grow up, I
yeah,
mean, there's a marathon major there now as well, so that's a
yeah,
good enough reason
Yeah.
for me to go to. And then I'll
totally.
back off like a big holiday off the back of that. So yeah, I'm dying to come.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nice. So
Oh,
what's next? Is Cape Town Marathon like on the horizon for you?
So I've done Cape Town before, but not
Okay.
since. It's most likely apparently going to be announced that it's a marathon major. They're going to announce it in December, and then it's in
Yeah.
May next year. I don't know if that's 100% true, but that's the word on the streets in South Africa, let's say, when I went there. So yeah, I've ticked off 4 of the marathon majors. I'm doing Tokyo next year, so that's number 5. So I'd love to do Cape Town again when it's a marathon major. So maybe probably the year after next year.
Hmm.
But next up on the list for me, my big marathon is Valencia Marathon, as Kate knows, in
Ooh.
December. So we got 8.5 weeks. And yeah, I managed to PB in the 10K just over a week ago. So fitness is in an amazing place. I'm feeling stronger than ever. So let's see if we can level up on that 2:19:45 over there.
Yeah, awesome.
God.
Can you let our listeners know where they can like follow your journey if they haven't already started to follow you?
Yes, sure. So I'm active on 3 social media platforms. I can't handle anymore. People are like, get yourself on TikTok, TikTok, TikTok. But yeah, I post it occasionally. But mainly, so I'm on Strava. So Nick Bester at Just a Little Bester on Strava, and then my Instagram handle is Just a Little Bester, which is a bit of a mouthful, I know. But it started. My tagline when I went into it was like just a little bester, which was too long, so I squashed it to just a little bester. And then on YouTube, I'm Nick Bester. So yeah, I'll be documenting my training and all of it on there.
Yeah, sweet.
I highly recommend the follow everybody. Nick is just like, you watch him and like, in case you can tell enough about this podcast episode, it's a breath of fresh air. Like it's fun, it's exciting, it makes you feel good and inspired about your own running journey. And like Nick has touched on, in a total like no stress, just enjoyable way, which I feel like is a
Yeah.
positive thing. Like you want to have that rub off onto you and remind yourself why you run, because it's fun, it's enjoyable, and don't let pressure get to you, because really it's not even there, right? It's
No.
like in our minds, and it's like, who cares? We're running, we're doing our thing, and if we don't hit our targets, we swing and we go again, and we go
Yeah.
again, and we go again, as Nick has taught us, 7 attempts to get sub 220s there. Now, do you want to disclose to us, Nick, well, hopefully you will, because I'm asking you now, what time goal for Valencia?
Yeah, sure. So I'll answer any question you ever ask me. So go ahead.
Oh, okay.
So my
I got one more.
above board. So my time goal for Valencia. Do you know what? I want to PB there. So 2:19:45. I want to break that. But then whatever I do at Valencia, I want to try and break at Tokyo. So like I know Tokyo's got a history of being either cold or hot, like very
Yeah.
in the middle. Last year was hot, unfortunately, but I ran really well in the cold. So Valencia is probably going to be like 15 degrees Celsius or so, which is not cold. But if Tokyo is cold, then I feel like I need to take advantage of that for sure. So I'm going to try and pivot off the Valencia block. Tokyo's probably about 3 months after Valencia, so not long.
Yeah.
And my ideal, I think, at Valencia would be sort of like, 2:19 flat, let's say, and then at Tokyo like 2:18, and yeah, I'll be the happiest guy ever. I said that after breaking
Wow.
2:20, so I'm getting greedy, but if I can do that, that'll be a massive bonus.
Amazing.
That's so
I
cool.
have one more question, which
Yeah,
I'm
go
just curious to know, and I know we're taking up lots of your time. What is the weirdest DM you have ever got from someone on social media?
That is a great question, Kate.
So there's been quite a few, but probably like the most strange one.
Top three.
The most strange one I think was, when Strava announced, or there was like newspaper articles about people, or not newspaper articles, just articles about people saying that they were paying others to run on Strava for them. So I saw that and I was like, no, like that can't be true. And then I got a message from someone that I know asking me if I could run with their watch and do this a certain time on Strava, and they would pay me pretty good money as well. And I was like, Are you kidding me? Like this actually really exists. So I didn't take it up. It would have been, quick, easy money. But I was like, that is crazy. That's, at this day and age, what people go to maybe, I don't know, try and impress others. And another
Yeah.
thing is like also like every other day, I would say I get messages from people, and it's on my Strava as well, asking me to follow them back on Strava, especially like younger kids. I think like it's maybe like a teenage thing where I don't know what it is, but it means a lot if someone follows them on a social media platform. So yeah, so I get those messages quite a lot as well.
Love it. Oh, that's good. Well, okay. You better be following me on Strava, Nick. If not, you get on that, please. No, I'm kidding.
You know
Yeah.
what? I'm
Follow
actually
me back, please.
I post every day on Strava, but I don't actually go on Strava that often. Funny enough, because I'm on
Oh, that's
Oh,
a
training peaks all
lie.
the time.
That's a
look,
lie.
yeah, he's already making excuses why he doesn't follow us, Michelle. That's
I'll
fine. No
follow
Oh.
you.
worries,
Follow you.
Nick. Oh, I love it. Well, thank you
Cool.
so much for your time, Nick. We've really enjoyed this. My cheeks are actually sore from smiling because it's been such good fun. And you've been, yeah, I'm like, oh, massage them later. Uh, massage gun. No, it's been
Cool.
such a good chat, and yeah, like it just yeah, really upbeat, exciting, like just again, just everything that I think that you come across on social media is just there, and it's fun and invigorating. So everyone, give Nick follow. No guarantees he's going to follow you back, but definitely bombard him with messages until he does.
Yes, absolutely. Um, but yeah, if you don't already follow us on YouTube, please do like and subscribe, and please do the same on whatever platform it is that you listen to us to. Um, Always give us a little like or like tick the rating box because it does help us as well.
Yes.
Cool. Amazing. Thanks so
Nick,
much. It was awesome catching up. My cheeks are also a bit sore, so we'll have to do some massaging later. But when I book my Australia trip, I'll let you know, and you can take me to some cool places where I can see some kangaroos for the first time. Okay.
Fantastic.
absolutely, that would be great, and I'll let my dog loose. No, I'm kidding.
Russell.
Well, until next time, let's keep the
Cheers, guys.
conversation going.